Okay, so a very great evening, great afternoon, great morning, and great night to everyone, regardless of where you're watching this from across the world. That is how we sign in on our L300 This Again podcast. And amazing, this is our impact story of the L300 program. And today we have an amazing guest with us who is going to be letting us know the impact that the program has had on him as a person. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Joshua Tamunoateli Fiamasi. And interestingly, today is his birthday. So anytime you're watching this, please leave a comment of happy birthday to Joshua in the video when you watch this. Today is his birthday. Yeah, Joshua, good to meet you. How is it like for you? By the way, before we begin, just take a look at this picture. Yeah, everybody who comes.
So the time has happened between then and now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's no punk anymore.
Oh my God.
But anyway, how has it been for you? 4 years ago, you walked into Benson University as a freshman, and this is 4 years after. Tell us about it. Your first experience being here in BIU.
Our first experience in BIU, therefore, that goes without saying. So I didn't resume on time. I resumed in January. Most of my classmates resumed like October the previous year. So when I came in January, I remember vividly, it was January 22nd. It was a Thursday.
We can't hear you talk out.
It was. So these are the issues, ladies and gentlemen. I was not prepped for audibility check. But we're good to go. Anyway, so I resumed January 22nd. That was 2022. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, 2022. It was a Thursday. And somehow I ended up on Legacy campus first. And then, afterwards I came down to this campus because I found out this was where I was supposed to be. So on getting here, I think the first thing that blew me away about BIU was that BIU has a quite a steaming environment, at least for a heritage campus. Even Legacy is quite fine, right? So it was like a steaming environment, and I'm like, okay, this is quite the place to be. So I came in, did my admissions gig, and the likes, and then 1 week later, I met Dr. Alex during training session, and that was the beginning of the whole L300 experience, more or less. So that's pretty much the coming in to BIU saga. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get right into the gist for.
I believe this is the full gist. This is just starting.
No, this is not starting the gist. Let's get into the gist. Now, on this, a lot of people feel like the L300 program is more about holiday tax, more about work, more about training session. They're just stressing us and all of that. So we felt the need to have a session to share the impact that the program has had on people, so that people can hear firsthand, people who have gone through the program and how the program was phenomenal for them. And we happen to have you here today to tell us about it. So tell us about yourself, Joshua. Right now you're a graduate. 4 years ago you were a freshman. Now you're a graduate. Tell us about yourself.
So right now I'm a graduate, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good way to open the conversation about myself. Once upon a time, it was when you're describing, okay, what are you doing right now as a student? I no longer have that luxury. Now I have to, pay in for the idea of graduate or unemployed. But we are trusting God that I can never be unemployed. Right. So about myself, I'm a graduate. I've done for more like 4 academic years in Benson University as a mass communication student. Beyond my degree in mass comm or what I've done in BIU, I'm a speaker, I'm a public speaker. That's what I like doing. So as much as I have the opportunity to invest myself in spaces like that, I always find out how to do that. And on the side, I like reading books, specific kind of books from specific authors, because I do a lot of watching speaking engagements, watching speaking videos, and reading specific books from those guys. I'm a lover of God. I got the blissful opportunity of encountering the gospel here in Benson University. That was in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2023. Benefits of the Coast, album of Gilead City, Jam Points. It was an amazing, absolutely phenomenal time. And I think this more or less describes my person. Other than that, just the intricacies of my hobbies, what I like doing from time to time. That's pretty much me.
Awesome. So while you were a student, I understand that you
Actually,
started
man, I was a
doing.
student. Okay.
Yes, while you were a student, you started doing a podcast and the Truth Talker. Tell us about what happened to Truth Talker.
Okay, so the ladies and gentlemen, also I feel the need to let you know at this point that it's an ambush. But into the conversation of the podcast. Alright, what's the idea here? So the podcast titled the You Day podcast, right? The idea was practically we wanted to converse on a degree like to let people to explore the idea of is there more to a person than what the eye meets? That was the original intention. That still is the original intention. Right now, the podcast is on hold for production. Dr. Alex knows all about this. And the part he does not know is I'm coming with a bang. And I know this sounds weird, but I've taken our time to actually think about this. And we will be rebranding more or less and releasing a new set of episodes. I'm saying rebranding because I have in mind to take off all the old episodes and kind of like do a redo of them, supposedly for the new set that are coming out, and that's going to happen from January 2027. So the reason why I picked
2027.
deliberate.
Wow.
The reason why I picked 2027 is because, and I'm saying this here so you know at least this is family to us now, so I have an idea. The reason why I picked 2027 is because I want to use the bulk of 2026 to do just production. We have no business with uploading, nothing. We just want to go back to the drawing board of producing, checking the work, if it fits, doing it over again until we hit a specific scale of excellence that we can work with for pushing out.
Well, so with 2027, we're not only going to be having a new president, we're going to be expecting
Exactly, like that's
you within podcast.
And TruthTalker would as always be like once again.
Okay, so let's get back to L300 community itself. So how would you say that it has aided your journey while you were here as a student, the L300 community, not the volunteers, but the community generally?
Okay, so the problem with not like there's a problem with the question, but it's hard to for my kind of person, considering my journey here, it's hard to extrapolate the community from volunteers because like I was heavily invested in both. So I'll try my best to answer the question in view of the community first before I talk about anything else to do with volunteers. So the community, one of the things that stunned me the most about the community was when I came into BIU, I discovered that there was no real plan for what to do with your summer break, like from a departmental perspective. If you were not going to go on IT, it was like kind of nothing. Because I came in, it was just my 100 level. I was not expected to do IT till 200 level. So I had like 3 months on my hands to do nothing. And then there's the L300 program. And part of the things that the L300 program has pushed to ensure is the holiday task. Now, why I like starting my conversation with holiday task is a lot of people would usually be like, what's the aim of the holiday task? Like, this is just burdensome. Like, we've been in school about 9 months and now we're home for almost 2-3 months and you still want to do assignments, you want us to read books, you still want us to. I can't count how much I've learned or the number of things I've learned just by virtue of the books we've read during my detox and movies we've seen. Now I learned a whole lot through movies. Movies like my kind of thing. And we've seen movies like off the top of my head, Social Dilemma. And I'm like, if somebody tells you to watch Social Dilemma as a movie and give you somewhere, you should know that this person is interested in your life. Like sincerely, like Social Dilemma is such a movie. Case in point, Hacksaw Ridge. If somebody tells you watch this, they're not just trying to while away your time. And the craziest part about the movies is if you put 6 movies for the task, you can sincerely sit down and binge watch all 6 at a go. But then that's not what we advise things to do, right? Because in each and every one of these movies is so much rich content, and then the books you get to read, and most importantly, the voluntary service. So the voluntary service idea stuck to me the most because how else do you show the world on an economic scale or on an employability scale what you've been able to do so far, other than the places you've volunteered or the places you've done your IT? And the difference between IT and voluntary services is that voluntary service is just a month. IT is most at times like 3 to 6 months, right? and there's a letter from the institution telling you, okay, once you do IC as pertaining to your course and whatnot. But with voluntary service, you're pretty much going like, okay, I have time on my hands, and there's something I want to do 4 or 5 years after my stay here in Benson outside university. I might as well start putting myself in the environment that produces that reality. That's simply what voluntary services. And it was, I first had my first voluntary service was at Radio Rivers because I'm a mass communication student. So I wanted to do something that had to do that was in line with my course. And when I came around and presented the letters to them from the L300 community, the lady was like, is it ITF? I said, no, it's not ITF. This is not, there's no grade for this, sincerely. I'm just here to volunteer and learn the works of this space. I was like, something like that exists in your university. I'm like, yeah, something like that exists in mine. They know the F to it. Like, no, it's only IT 3 months. I'm looking at 1 month. Who is doing 1 month with you? I said, Mama, it's 1 month they gave me. I didn't plan for an extra month, but it was quite the experience. So as a community, from the viewpoint of holiday task, I feel the L300 community has shown to the institution what is possible for students to do in their holiday period, beyond just resting and chilling, which is super important. But then outside the holiday task, with the number of programs we run in the community, there's the L300 podcast, there are the short films that we release, there are the train sessions that we have. How I met Dr. Alex was train session. That's how I met you. First train session we had 100 level. And I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I can remember the video, the bamboo video, where the idea in the bamboo video was trying to teach you about patience and whatnot. And I'm like, so these kind of people are investing outside university, and they're just like, and I never, till now, I don't understand how people have gone through the university and have never really appreciated the L300 community. Because for me, it was like, definitely, this is where you should be. Maybe it was particular because of, I'm into public speaking and the likes, but I was like, no, this is definitely the place. If you're not going to be invested in this, then you're just going to do certificates plus certificates. That doesn't pay bills, man.
Nice. That LST was okay. Wait. You show yourself too much. Okay, so next I'd like to ask, what were some of the skills you think you gained while you were on the L300 program from freshman year to penultimate year? What were some of those skills that you gained as a person?
One super important skill. So I want to praise that time management, but that's not exactly what it is. It's more like people and self-management. So I've always been a kind of person that if I'm not really a fan of emergencies, my days are very structured. Like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this now. I'm supposed to be doing this now. If I'm while away time, it's because okay, I'm supposed to be while away time during this period, right? So I've never really been a fan of out of the blue. You're like called to handle this. I used to have this has been like the background thing because I used to have like back and forth with my parents. Like, can you guys just? I know I'm your child. I know you bettered me and you're allowed to send me anywhere in this world. But can you just like before it happened, like as before we get to the day, just tell me the day before, like just like be doing this. So I really appreciate because it helped my mind. But then I came to BIU and in the L300 community, you can just be having regular Saturday, the glory of God. And you get a memo that says you're supposed to have a meeting now in the next 5-10 minutes, and there's nothing else to do but get yourself accustomed to it. So it has helped me fix up time. And then in terms of people, if you mess up the rhythm of my day, I'm like, you're saying that for me. But as a president, because of all the back and forth, meetings with Dr. Alex, meetings, training session, meetings with other people, I'm like, okay, fine. Don't think it's out of people, just find a way to work around it. So therefore, time management and people management. And then if there's any other skill I would say the program has helped me build a whole lot would be public speaking. I've been saying this in the beginning of this conversation. If you have not realized now that I like to talk, I know where I'm doing this and that's my day. So as a community, that helps me a whole lot. Because Dr. Alex being Dr. Alex can just be like, so you have this coming up, this is happening. And I'm like, okay. So I think you should handle it. And I'm like, okay. That's not what I heard. What I heard is that you have this coming up, and as coordinator of the community, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But no, I want to handle this, I want to handle this. So he's always found ways of just like putting me out there in the spotlight. And that has this started becoming much more of like a conscious thing along the line. But subconsciously, I didn't figure out, but it was building me at a massive rate, such a rate that I could be called up at any point right now. I mean, I don't know like the full dynamics of the topic you want me to handle or what it is, but if you just give me an idea of what you want, like you're going to get like standard delivery, and that's not a product of just me as a person. That's a product of me as a person in this community. So therefore, that's so.
Awesome. Awesome so far. Speaking of what you just said now, two of the guests we've had earlier, Harry and Tejiri, you mentioned your name along with Coco and Sunshine are people that really inspired them on behave yourself. People that really inspired them on the program. I think you should really feel humbled by that right now that you inspire people in the program. Now, speaking of which, my next question should be
Harry and Tejiri.
More also coming. Don't worry, because I think you were just like that example you were looking up to when they came, and you probably pulled your weight for that for them, and it was good. They mentioned it even while you were not here. They mentioned that Okay, so let's get back on track right now. Next thing, what were the things that had the greatest impression on you on the program? Whether things or people or events, what really had that great impression on you as a person?
Okay, greatest impression on me. I'm not saying this because it's here, because that's a simple to. I'll just say all the things, whether I must have me or not. Greatest impression on me in the program definitely has to be Dr. Alex. I don't think I have. How do I just say this delicately without getting emotional? So so when I came into BIU, I always had standard. I love my dad. I've always somehow had like father figures in my life throughout. From my dad, even in secondary school, there were like significant people that were older than me that played that role. And then coming to BIU, that was like Dr. Alex for me. I don't think I've had interactions or communications with a whole lot of with other male figures in BIU outside your person. So when I'm when I'm saying this is not on the basis of you're the only person I've known. I don't think I've met a male figure that has put himself out for what he stands for, what he believes in, and people he believes in, like you have over the years. Like that's impeccable. And I'm saying this with so much what's the word? So much trust and dexterity because we've had our back and forth the longest, and somehow, you're still always present, irrespective of the back and forth. So it's like there were days when, an example comes to mind now. There were days when this first happened when. So again, I mean, it's wrapping up. Okay, so the example I'm thinking of is outside the program where it speaks to your person, so we'll go with it. There were days when you would literally, be sick or not have the energy to put through the work at hand, and then you're like, the work must be done regardless. Like I remember when we were running masterclass, public speaking masterclass, and the day the masterclass was start, that was Tuesday chapel. Tuesday chapel was ended, and I came into the office, the campus life then, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Are you ready? And I met him, was just lying down on one of the offices on the couch. I'm like, what happened? Are you taking a nap? It's like, no, his body's hot and whatnot. And I asked him to get him drugs and a few things. So we got drugs, we prayed to communion. I'm like, okay, so I just like rest, figure this out some other day. I was like, no, don't worry, just go. Once I hold the mic, I'll be fine. And shoot his words, we went there. He was walking fine, he was trying his best just to pull through. We went there. I mainly held the mic because I was like, nothing happened prior to I getting there. And to tell you that it was just the thing of the moment, as he went through that night, he needed help, real medical help. But that's like a testament of this kind of person that if he set out his mind to do something, that's why he always has this quote: if I say I'm going to do something, unless I die, unless I die, I would do it. And therefore he's done that without a shadow of doubt. And then other than Dr. Alex, if there are other people in the program that have really touched me to a large degree, you would have guys like Coco. Coco is not here in person,
Yeah,
obviously.
shout out to Coco again. Somebody
Shout out
mentioned
Coco.
you again. That's the third person that
Coco,
mentioned you today.
Coco, how I knew that Coco was effective was that Coco was the tool you used to steal me into L300. Sincerely, it was a Sunday afternoon. We just finished service at Peter right now. And Coco is like, I want to see a Love Garden. I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. So I came out to Love Garden. And she's like, so you know you're joining L300, right? I'm like, I don't think that's how people start conversations. But okay, we might as well go ahead with this. And she was such an instrumental force in, yeah, making the L300 community what it is right now. And then you'd have guys like Anita. Anita came along the way, so you will not see her in this picture. But then she came in and she put her mind into what was there, and she just like ensured that it works throughout. You'd have guys like Harry. Harry is so I think the thing I like the most about Harry is that Harry has learned shamelessness from Dr. Alex. So I remember when we're in 200 level, at 200 level beginning or 100 level ending, Harry would always be like, oh yeah, he's into like photography and whatnot. And then he was like chiefly in mobile photography because he didn't have his camera then, Genevieve. Yeah, he didn't have Genevieve then. That's the name of his camera, by the way, Genevieve. So he'll be like, okay, like you take a picture and then he'll come and show me like, yeah, what's that? What do you think about this? Like, this is dope. And then Francis, which is one of my guys, so now was around then with us. He's moved to Faith Mediplex, Medicine Boy. So he'll take Francis phone from time to time and say, guys, I'm big, just boom your phone, I'm big, bro. Like, I have this concept. I was always like concept, like, and proof that he's the only person seeing it, as he's describing it, you're like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, sir? He says, I have this concept, just boom, like, please. And he would do what he needed to do. And then eventually he had Genevieve. And even with Genevieve, before Genevieve would tease Harry, with Genevieve would tease Harry. After Genevieve, we still keep teasing Harry. And Harry would just taking everything with a smile and still do amazing stuff. Like I've seen some of the shots that Harry has pulled like through the years, and I'm like, yeah. Even with mobile photography, there were shots that he did and designed, and I'm like, it shouldn't be possible. He was using like an Infinix then or something like that. I'm like, for somebody that's not using an iPhone or a Samsung, or let's say like a Google Pixel, an Infinix, wow, phenomenal guy. So he was able to take on that cloak of seamlessness and flow through what he wanted, and therefore he stood out for me. Big shout out to Big Man Tage. Teju is like Teju is also in this picture. You can see that he looks very composed here. It's a very different personality. Trust me, this was because we are about to take picture. The Teju I know right now as your president and Teju I've known over the years is someone that's so downstairs, so real. And you have Kobe, one of my dearest friends. There's Jojo, there's Tamara. Oh, and there's I call her Sense and Sparkles. Yeah, the person has to make me smell good. So if at any point in the outside university history, you met me and be like, yeah, you smell so nice. Yeah, sunshine. So these guys, there are a lot of other names. There's Emma. There are like many people, sincerely, that are in my head right now. But as a community, L300 has been blissful. I'm not even going to say that. And I want to say the events have been much more memorable, but I think what made the events memorable are actually people. So
Great. Now, speaking about events and being memorable, let's go back to this particular question.
Yeah.
What were those moments or events that were really, really memorable for you on the program? Whether it was train session, movie nights, school outreach, podcast, movie. What are those moments that were really memorable for you on the L300 program?
Off the top of my head, you'd have in no specific order of ranking, but you'd have podcast, school outreach, and
you get to do episodes on the podcast. Yeah? You get to do episodes on the podcast.
Like it's the episode.
I'm just asking.
So let me tell you a story. I don't know if that's asking for formality. I think you don't know if you that's asking. Here's how this again podcast started. Ladies and gentlemen, we had one of our legendary L300 all night, where we'd come and we'll train for hours on stretch without your device, because your phone are a distraction to your learning. right? All you have is book and pen and you must listen. So we train, we stretch for like 10, 11. You now do like one break in between like 30 minutes or something. So you will not sleep because there are people to wake you up. Big ups to Jed. Man, I love you for keeping the record of the sleeper. Like, we had so many all night and nobody took your title. Nobody even came close. I love you, man. Sincerely, I do. So we had such an all night, and then the all night comes to a close around like 4 a.m. And to every ideal mind, 4 a.m., we are sick people. We are young, gray adults. So what for children then? Let them rest. Okay, look into the heavens and said, they have the ability for more. Who told you that? Who convinced you that we do? And it's like, okay, so according to the plan we have for today, we're going to start the recording for the podcast today. So he called myself Wonderful. So myself and Wonderful started off this again podcast as host and co-host for the bulk of season 1, if not the whole of season 1, more or less. And then we ended up doing about 4 to 5 episodes between 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. And they were like 15-minute conversations. And he's asking me if I've been alright. After we nearly died. But to tell you that this was the testament of, I believe in you guys and I know you guys are capable. You would think that if, considering that you're tired, you're stressed, you would just, go ahead where you can, do the best you can, and then step. It's a lie. We'll do like a recording and you listen and I'll be like, it's not hitting it. It's not. How can you hit it? Okay, I'm not left. You can't hit anywhere. There was no hitting. But it says not hitting. And we'll go back to drawing board and we do until we got anything ideally close to the view or excellence. And that was served as the template. So definitely, Dr. Alex, I have been on the L300 podcast with this thing. I am one of the signatures is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Like season 1, season 2, season 3. I'm a regular boy. Yes, I have. So that's for L300 podcast. Another definite events would be stream session. I got the privilege of hosting a few stream sessions or anchoring a few stream sessions, and also speaking like as kind of like not like guest speaker, because guest speaker is always reserved for him. But speaking like, okay, so when somebody gives a point or they finish their conversation and it comes to kind of like summarize and put the crowd in, or you're part of the teaching segment, I was obviously to that like a good number of times. Most of them were impromptu. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. You just have to love about L300, right? Like we have organized a plan. We're doing this. Then we wake up Saturday morning and realize that the plan you have organized is not the plan that's happening. So you must follow the plan that's happening. So, for example, you might not have been the person that was supposed to handle that day, but you look at the program, you look at the person that's supposed to be there. Maybe something happens to the person, an unforeseen circumstance, and you look at it and they're like, "We believe in your capabilities," and you go up and you still get the job done. So, training session for sure, and then school outreach. So I think what I like school outreach the most is without you on the podcast, it's just you and your peers on the podcast, obviously, to the far reaching ends of Benson outside university, outside BIU and the rest of the world. Yeah. For train session is you and the rest of the L300 community running train sessions or being a part of train sessions. For school outreach is much more a very L300 volunteer program that it is really an L300 community program, right? So school outreach is you and your peers, but the people you're speaking to are not your peers. Most of them are. We speak to secondary school students, preferably senior secondary school students, and just the experience of you're coming to talk to people that you're once in their shoes, obviously, and you're talking to them about what you come to share with them, and giving them advice and whatnot. And this is why I love speaking so much. It's like this is why I'm not why anybody else would love speaking. I don't know. I advise people get this skill as much as you can. But this is why I love it. There's a thing that happens when you're speaking to an audience, right? And like the audience is not actively responding to you in terms of, I get you, sir, right on, papa. none of that is like usually happening. What's usually happening as their form of communication is like you can see it in their eyes, like when they get your point, or like there's a nod when they agree with you, or there's like a twitch in their eyes when there's confusion, and you're trying your best to mitigate all these feelings and go through ahead with what you intended to share. And it's an amazing thing. And I've been blessed during my stay in the community to see this across board. So I've had the opportunity of doing this and seeing this with people older than me, and then definitely people younger than me, and that's like school outreach. And one of the most iconic moments about school outreach that I can't forget would be I resumed my final year sometime last year, and I saw like three young men, and I'm like, I knew these guys. Like when I was looking at them, I was like, I knew these guys. I was trying to piece, where do I know you guys from? And then the guys came over to me and they're like, hey, what's good? And I'm like, I know you guys. And they're like, we know you too. I was like, where do we know you from? And I'm like, oh, what's the school you guys go to? And they told me that's school. And I'm like, oh, school outreach. And this was school outreach in 100 level. Yeah, it was school outreach you had in 100 level. And few of them right now are medicine outside university students. And they were like, you get like the stuff you told us then, like it made so much sense. I implemented a few of it and got my academic straight. And right now, maybe one is doing medicine, wow. One is in business admin, last one is in accounting. That's mind blowing enough, right? And I was opportunity to see like two other students. I think they were with their parents at some point, and they saw me off a distance, and they're like, "Oh yeah, mommy, this guy, he came to our school. He talked. I don't know, the guy and the parents were like, ah, thank you so much. And I'm like, thank you too. Like, thank you us all." Because like at that moment, I couldn't remember that I'd seen these guys, but just the experience of talking to people and seeing that the things you said helped people to some degree is blissful enough. I don't think I would have had the hands-on experience of that if not for school outreach. So therefore, L300 has been. If you do 4 or 5 years in BIU, and this is not end quote, I'm just saying it right now. If you do 4 or 5 years in BIU, I know it can be serious, but I promise you, if you give yourself to this program, you would look back and be pleased with the amount of time you've spent and the energy and money if necessary you invested in it, because the returns are just exponential, absolutely exponential.
Awesome. Joshua has a way of taking our time, and we are past 10, but we'll still finish. We'll wrap up.
That's me. They didn't tell you earlier. I know this supposed to come at the beginning, so let's put in a disclaimer. Time is not really my strong suit. I know I say time management, but that's nothing to do with speaking. It's time management outside speaking. You understand? Thank you.
Okay, so on the program for you, have you had any form of challenges on the L300 program itself?
L300 program itself, challenges. Definitely. I mean, with anything you put yourself to, if you really put yourself to it, there will be challenges. And that's the only way you put yourself into it. So challenges. The biggest challenge I've had in the L300 program would be people. As much as people have made the program the best, people have also made the program a lot. It's always people. People change. I'm talking to you. Word of advice, change. This is for you watching. Change. So yeah, definitely people. And in terms of people, it will be. I had like a high level of annoyance and pain during the course of the program, and I started figuring out. Not like figuring out. It was just a notice thing where you would. So we are in this together. Right? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm getting so trust me. So we're in this together, right? And we're like, come on, let's just hear something. We've agreed. As though we swore an oath and we're going to do this, we're going to judiciously put ourselves in line, not put our life. We're just going to be part of this. And then from 30, you get to Team A and Team B. And you people that are laughing know exactly what I'm thinking of. Team A and Team B. It's called the left and the reserve. And you're like, okay, so I know there's a squad 11, the guys that, anytime Dr. Alex did something, these guys, because they've shown up 3 times and they've built a, what's the word? more than they built experience, they built a level of competence here around the program. So like these guys are the guys, yes. So reserves, we need you to be part of this because we need all hands to be on deck to make the program as much as a success as we've always planned it to be, right? And then you find out that the reserves are like not in it anymore, they're lagging, either they feel they're not appreciated. And I get the dynamic of feeling not appreciated, and in my own way, I've done the best I could to make people feel appreciated. But I'm saying this to somebody who is listening outside the program and outside my experience. You're an amazing human being, truthfully. The term appreciation comes from the idea of you have done something. This is a way of saying thank you for what you have done. So if you're not doing anything and you just expect flowers, come on now. So that was like a thing with the alternate program that it didn't really sit well with me. And to tell you that it was ongoing, at some point it became from team A to return from football team to basketball team. From 11 5 aside. From 5 aside, the almighty 3. Very soon it became where two, not even 1, 2, or 3, where it's 1 and 2 gathered together in the midst for a cause. And that was like a thing that didn't really sit well with me. So definitely, as much as people were instrumental in making the program what it was, people also had a way of playing a role in making it not as magnificent as it could have been. So that was like a major challenge for me. And I'd love to believe, or I'd love to say that the idea behind that, or the reason why that challenge existed had to do something with maybe people's personal psychology or philosophy or bias about specific things that I feel could have been conversed if they brought it up. Oh, well, that's all in the mud right now. So other than that, any other challenge I had would be, so all of you we're probably laughing, right? I've had a great time with you. So Alex, I'm laughing, but you would really know this one. So let me tell you about this one. So you'll be on your own, right? Yeah, not like your day. There's a specific schedule. There's okay, this one I'm doing, this one I'm doing, this one I'm not doing, this one. We start after 3. So Silas will just be like, so this it didn't really. I understand what you're trying to say. Like, this is what we want to, this is what we're supposed to do. But it's not really hitting. And let's go back and do it again. Okay, so we have gone and do it again. In fact, this is what I think we should do, this is what I think we should move back, add, we have deduct, we have subtract, we have minus, we have multiply. Equals to the end result. So there's something, I can't really just go back and do it again. There's a hidden element that's missing inside. Just go back and do it again. Oh my God, that was unbelievably draining. Because you go back and you get to do, you go back and you get to do, you go back and you get to do, and it takes a certain skill set over time to understand that this is the pursuit of excellence. If you meet that thing head on at the beginning, you will say no and not do again. But if you understand this kind of person and his pursuit of excellence, it's like a thing of you have to go back and redo until you hit like, because the thing is mind that, and you must hit that thing. But the journey to hitting that thing, thank God, yes, I forgive. The journey to hit that thing, at times, unbearable. But at the very end, and I mean, this is kudos to him because he knows he's a very emotionally intelligent person, right? So after you've gone through that rigor, and he knows that this has taken a toll on you, not call you and be like, but you see, we achieved it. And that's not what you want to hear. I mean, you could see, look at this one that you did before. Look at this. So there's only one difference. That makes all the difference. That makes all the difference. You achieve it.
Okay, so a little bit of digress a bit.
Yeah.
You're talking about the L300 community itself,
Yeah.
but tell us a bit about your experience being a volunteer from 100 level to penultimate here.
Being a volunteer. But like I said, sometime during the course of this discourse that I was pulled into this program. Was not for my own volition. Let me confess now. Ladies and gentlemen, they kidnapped me. I don't know what I did to please them, but they kidnapped me. You know, that kind of something like this is a very weird scenario, but just follow me. Just trust me. It makes sense at the end. So I know you've seen movies, you've watched movies where guys are like looking for a high profile target, maybe somebody wants to kidnap, and there are specific things that you look for. The person needs to have money, they need to dress nice, they need to fit the requirement of what you need, they need to have a specific schedule, and then you find their schedule and then you just kidnap them. Apparently that's what they did for me. So you have 20 sessions. I because me, I was like I said, I like speaking, I was getting into the gig of everything, like he would ask a question, I would answer. As I'm answering, everybody in the hall is looking like, who's this guy? I mean, I'm just going what I'm doing because where I'm from, this is normal. Like, this happens. This is a regular thing, right? And then he would look at me like, okay, I get a point. I guess that's brilliant. And I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. Like, and everybody's like, wow, yeah, you spoke so nicely. Like, I enjoyed. I'm like, okay, thank you. Sincerely, I'm grateful. Like, this is pretty very normal to me considering where I'm coming from. So I'm like, thank you so much. And then after the program, I met him and I'm like, oh, you're into public speaking. I like what you do. Like, so I don't know, like I was blessed by you. I was taught like, just giving like pointers and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, sure, we'll talk. That in my mind, I'm like, we'll talk. What we'll talk means is we will talk, we will communicate like one-on-one. I will reach out to you, we'll handle a few conversations and I'll do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Saturday. Sunday. Coco. That's how they gather me, they say, so you're going, you're a volunteer, right? I'm like, I don't understand because I didn't come and follow that. I came here for the Lord, my books, and public speaking. There's something in this thing that's volunteering. They say, you're not a volunteer. And I'm like, okay, let's see how it goes. So in my mind, I'm like, let's see how it goes. Like, it won't be so much work. Like, let's just see. And the way she puts it, I was like, so I know you love speaking, so you give the opportunity to speak a lot of times, to converse with your classmates, to give them directions, to just talk to them and help them because you organize training sessions. I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, let's do this. That's how they used to take people, in this community. Are you not people now that you have entered on the basis of because they'll present in such a way that okay, you enter with your own volition is like will you or will you not after they told you at the beginning that you are already just to make you feel like this was not forced upon you. So will you or will you not? Okay, yes, I will. So in your mind now is yes, I will, which means at some point you can also go like, I don't do again though, I don't do again, it's still like that's how we enter the program. When the program we're going, when it got tough, I'm like, I'm not doing it again. And the same people that brought you in will come and sit down and be like, how can you see that? Can you see that? Look at what we've been able to achieve. I understand it's trying to just keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's how we do keep going. 4 years down the line, it's super. Now come on. Now I'm actually a volunteer alumni. But my God, the experience in the program has been fun now. Irrespective of the ups and downs, which obviously have been present. I've been fond of looking at and this is particular to me. I don't advise this for anybody. This is very particular to me. So my view of Benson outside university has always been that I'm going to come here and get my degree. And I've never really had in mind to really use my degree. And big ups. I love the fact that I studied mass comm. And people ask me why mass comm. Basic reason why I did mass comm eventually was because of the skill set, articulation, proper speaking and writing skills. That's all. That was the thing. Being an L300 volunteer helped me put what I was learning in the classroom to practice. Aeons before I did IT. So a long while before I had IT experience, had public speaking engagements outside there a long while before that. Most of those things had already started coming out at a phenomenal rates by virtue of being an L300 volunteer. So I can't look at my BIU experience and not talk about being an L300 volunteer because it added enough spice. Like the downtimes added enough spice. the good times are not spice. The times where you overwork yourself, it was
Amazing. If we let you, we'll stay here forever.
that's why I hold it there.
Okay, so as we begin to wrap this up,
Mm.
what would be your advice to young people who are coming to Benz University, freshmen, or those who are still in school, sophomore and ultimate year? What's your advice to them about the program? What do you expect them to do now that they are still part of the program? How do you expect them to be more involved with the program so that they don't miss out of the possibilities and opportunities that the program has to offer them?
Okay, so if you're still investing outside investors, start a conversation from there before we talk about freshmen or those coming to the area. If you're still investing outside investing, you have the luxury, and I'm choosing my words very particularly. You have the luxury of the L300 program. Give it as much as you can. I know this can be tedious, but I don't know how else to tell you, but phrase it like I promise you. In fact, here's what I really mean. If you give into this program for the remainder of your year, like you actually give into the program, give into the training sessions, and you come for training sessions, you listen, you document, you practice the things that are taught. You come for any other program they schedule, be a part of the podcast if need be, listen to the podcast, obviously, do your holiday tasks, watch the movies. If you judiciously give yourself into this program and you finish the BIU, and some 2 years down the line, you don't know what to do with your life, call me. I will pay you. If you judiciously give yourself to this program and you finish BIU and you don't know what to do with your life after you graduate, call me. I myself will pay you. Sincerely, the program itself is layered in such a way that the skills alone you would get, soft skills and even hard skills that you would get, would definitely set you up for life, remote work related. That's if you choose to do remote work. And if you choose to not even do remote work, when you eventually start working in a company and the likes, these skills are the things you would need. Most of the soft skills. And that's what the program inherently prides itself on. So my advice is give yourself into the program. If you're not yet in BIU, you're coming to BIU. As much as you're coming to BIU for many other things like the facilities and the likes, this should also be one of the foremost things in your mind that you're coming to BIU for. I do not know of the existence of Leadership 300 anywhere else outside BIU. The hope is that we would take the awesomeness of this program to other institutions. But until that becomes a reality, we have it here in BIU. So if you're coming here, this will be part of the things that you have in mind to experience. And I promise you, my name is Joshua Tamunoateli. In this life, I'm already a millionaire and wealthy. So I'm telling you, if at the end of this all, you come into BIU, you give yourself this program, you don't know what to do with your life, call me. They have my email. They have my number, call me. I tell you, call me. If it's money you need, I will pay you. If it's advice you need, I will give you advice. But I promise you, if you give yourself this program, coming in as a freshman, coming as a new student, give yourself into this, you'll be happy you did. I promise you, you'll be happy you did.
Okay, last one. The questions are done. This is just a bonus question for somebody who's in school now, either freshman or sophomore year or penultimate, and they are thinking, should I be an editorial volunteer or should I not be? What would be advice to that person?
Okay, so as much as I want to tell you off the top of my head, be an L300 volunteer, I'm not going to do that. Reason being this. Here's my advice to you, considering being an L300 volunteer. I think you should sit down and have a discourse with yourself and ask yourself what exactly it is you want to be able to achieve within the next 4 or 5 years of yours. Yeah, we have many students. We are doing 7 years, okay, yeah, included. I think you should sit to yourself and ask yourself what it is you want to achieve whilst you're in BIU and what it is you want to be able to do immediately after you leave BIU. By the time you answer this question and you itemize these things, I can assure you all the things you're looking for, you find them by being a volunteer. I don't know what it is you're looking for, but if you can't answer that question first, when you come into the community, yes, you'll be developed, yes, you'll be helped, but you will maximize it. So this is for maximizing. Answer those questions and be a part of the L300 volunteers community, and I assure you, you will not regret it. You will ask him. You will talk in podcast. You will do school outreach. You will do TikTok. You will do publicity. You will do social media management. You will do time management, people management, your emotions management, financial. You will give. You will give. If you don't know how to give, you will learn how to give. You don't know how to save, you will learn how to save. So the thing is, whatever it is you actually want to do, to whatever degree you want to do it, this community offers, if not the full scope, offers a good enough platform for that. And if there's no takeaway from the community, the fact that the community offers you the opportunity to have a closer relationship with Dr. Alex is good enough. Because I don't know what you want to do in your life, but if you have him on your side, it's just easier. That's like what I mean is like it's easier. It's not like beating on your side, you have sense immediately, you kiss the point. It's like you don't have sense immediately, but you don't know that whenever I have sense, if I beg for us more, I know I have somebody that yeah, since I forgive you. So yeah, that's right. That's my advice to you. You should be a part of this. But answer those questions first, and then we will see you in this. I know I will see you in this, like I said, and I'm alumni. From time to time, I was coming out to say, what have you doing in your life now?
Okay, so as we wrap up, in L300, we always say this. I love BIE because it's where I met you.
Yeah, boy.
Intro, just another.
Yeah, boy. Till now, I still tell people, people close to me, I love BIE because it's where I met you. I learned that from L300, and that's the true statement. I love BIE because where I met Dr. Alex. I love BIE because where I met Harry. Like, God Almighty, people look at me and they're like, yeah, you're such a. Like, you speak so well, such a good guy, you're so calm, you're so. I say people look at me, listen to what I'm saying. This is not my own compliment. It's not pride. Understand what I'm saying. People look at me and then give these compliments. I'm just remembering some of them. Hold up, I'm getting something. So people look at me and give these compliments, and as much as I'm grateful for all the compliments, I'm like, I'm a product of the people that have consistently surrounded my life over time. And there are guys like Dr. Alex, there are guys like Harry, there are guys like Anita, there are guys like Komen, Amy, there are guys like Anabai, there are guys like Tejiri. Like, God Almighty, these people are in the community, some of them are not even in the community, but sincerely, I love BIE because that's where I met L300. That's where I met everything about L300, the ups and downs, the people, the fun parts. And my God, we had peak fun parts. Oh, Jesus. You're looking for this. We've had peak fun parts. We've had downtimes. And to tell you that it's a real community. The same way we laugh with our full chest, the same way we cry as a group. So if something really sadly happens, it affects us all. If something really grand happens, it affects us all. We have a way of celebrating all our own milestones, and I love BIE because and I think I was thinking about this when I was writing my final papers a few weeks back. So everybody was like in spirit of sign off, like you're all sign off, and God, I'm like, Jesus is Lord. I'm leaving BIE. And don't get twisted. I'm not like scared because I'm in BIE. No, it just dawned on me that like my stay here 4 years has wrapped up. All the experiences I had, wrapped up, the things I've learned, wrapped up, the people I've met, wrapped up, the relationships I've been able to build. And I'm like, wow. I can look back and say, if I did 1 year in BIE, and I know it's stress, but trust me, as I'm saying, if I did only 1 year in BIE and I eventually dropped out, that's like, if I just did 1 year in BIE, and I was an L300 volunteer, after the 1 year I dropped out, I'll be okay. I'll be Gucci. The program itself has much more than you require, and the program itself is willing to give you much more than you require. So I love BIE because we have been talking.
Okay, guys, this is where we get to wrap it up for today. This was supposed to be 30 minutes, but Joshua took 1 hour, but it's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, moving forward in future times, I know I'm blue. You invite me for programs. Don't come and be doing all these whole 30 minutes conversation. It needs to work with me. Maybe by then God would give me the grace, but you have me, you want this for 1 hour. Don't lie to yourself. At every moment you were touched, you were moved, you understood the story. There was no dull moment. That's me. So moving forward, I used to charge for my time. I learned from Doki. I learned to charge in Naira. I learned to charge. I used to charge in between dollars and pounds. And you can also do crypto. So it's very important to me. So 1 hour and above, and you will get your money's worth.
Okay, so thank you so very much, Joshua Tamunoateli. Thank you. Once again, happy birthday. Wherever you'll be watching this, the already may have passed, but today is the day. So happy birthday. So more love, more prayers, everything for you on your birthday. And we hope that, like you said, if they can't find their way after 2 years, you owe them.
I owe you. In fact, the 1 year. If you do 1 full year, 365 days, count it. You don't know what to do in your life. You have no direction. There's no timing.
No problem about that. So guys, you've heard it from Joshua, you've heard it from Tejiri, you've heard it from Harry, you've heard it from the other people who have been here. The program is actually designed for you and to make you better. So we just only hope that while you're here, take advantage of it. Do not just be like other people who feel like just a waste of time. They're just trying not to want me to have my phone and all of that. Because the truth is this, like Joshua was saying, you only have a limited time being here, and you must make the most of that time that you have here. And you're not doing this for the program, you're doing it for yourself, because at the end of the day, you would graduate, you would leave, for who you have become, you will take with you everywhere that you go. So, Joshua, thank you so very much, and we look forward to having more conversations with you in the future, online, to other volunteers.
I will not charge.
No. The labor is worthy of his wages. So
I've charged people. Like it's only in dollars and euros.
You'll be able to pay. So, guys, thank you so much. We look forward to having other conversations with other people who will share their own story of the impact of the L300 program. Like we said, this session is to let you know that the program, beyond the fact that you do holiday tags, beyond the fact that you do training sessions, beyond the fact that all the things you are told to do, is actually for your benefit, it's actually for your good. And when you learn to do this, you will see how it will improve the person that you are becoming. And that's the whole idea of the program. So we look forward to having more conversations with you, and we can't wait to share another impact experience that someone has had on the program. Who knows, you might just be the next person sharing your own impact experience of how the program has been beneficial to you. So until we come your way again, remember L300, I love BIU because it is where I met you. Have a great day.